welcome back to my home here at the Red Brick House. This week I am planning to make another gathered skirt. A few months ago I made a maxi skirt where I did the most simplest, easiest beginner skirt that you could probably ever make. And this time I'm going to be making this skirt similar, but it's going to be a little bit different. I'm putting a waistband on this skirt and I'm going to gather the skirt before I put the waistband on. So it will be a little bit different, have a little bit of a different look, but it's still very simple to make. So let's get started making an adorable gathered skirt. Okay, so this is the fabric that I'm going to be using. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's a linen and cotton blend. It's roughly about 50-50, I believe. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. They did have a rusty red and white stripe, and that's what I went back for to pick up because I didn't buy it when I first saw it, and when I went back, they didn't have it at all. And so I got the blue instead, which is fine. I like it too. So my skirt's going to be out of this stripe, and then I'm going to make my pockets and my waistband out of this. It's the same type of fabric. This is the leftovers from my linen pants that I made earlier this year. And I'm going to just utilize that, like I said, for the waistband and the pockets. The pockets, I just made my own pattern, y'all. And it might not look the best, but it's going to be inside my pants anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just kind of drew around my hand, had a straight edge here that will attach to the pocket. I held it up to my side to make sure that it all kind of, my hand would fit in there kind of nicely. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut out 2 or 4 of these, 2 one way, then mirror image, flip it over, and 2 the other way. And my waistband for my elastic, I want quite a tall, thick waistband for this skirt. And so how I got those measurements is I measured my waist and I added 5 to 6 inches, I think is enough. I don't want it to be, I don't want a ton of gathering in my waistband because the gathering is going to be on the skirt, but the skirt is going to be elastic. So I need a little bit of ease there. So I'm hoping that's enough. Before in the past, I've done my waistband as the length of my hips, like measured my hips and did that measurement. And for me and my body, my hips are 10 inches bigger than my waist. And it was a lot of fabric to have to push that elastic through. So I don't think it's needed. Anyway, that was a long explanation for all that. But because I want quite a thick, tall waistband on this skirt, I'm going to cut mine about 3 inches wide. And that'll give me a 1/2 inch seam allowance on both sides and enough room to make 2 casings because I want to put 2 strips of elastic through this waistband. So that's what I'm doing. And so now I'm just going to start cutting all this stuff out. And I'll come back and talk a little bit about the skirt and how I'm going to cut it out. Okay, now I have my fabric all laid out. I'm ready to cut it out. I want my stripes to go up and down on my skirt. The selvage is over here on this side. So I will be cutting it on the grain, which is good. But I'm going to utilize all of this fabric, which is why I made my pockets and my waistband out of the kind of matching fabric, but a different fabric, because I really want this skirt to be as full as it can possibly be. And so what I'm going to do here is I've just taken what I bought and folded it over on itself. That's what I have here. So this is folded, and I'm going to fold it again like this way, and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to get a midpoint, and I'm going to cut that in half. And then when I open this up, I'll have one panel here, and then I'll have another panel, up there. So a panel for the front and a panel for the back. After finding the midpoint, I pin it and then mark it before cutting the fabric in half. Before I start sewing the skirt, I'm going to do my pockets and get my pockets prepared, and I probably hem one edge of my waistband. I prepare the pockets by using a zigzag stitch around the edges. Next, I hem one edge of the waistband and then join the two ends together to make a circle. Let's pin the pockets in place at 12 centimeters from the top of the fabric and on the right side of the fabric with the pockets facing inward. Then sew them in place. Now, with right sides together, I will pin the pockets and fabric together at the side seams. When that task is done, I will sew down to the pocket and pivot the fabric to sew around the pocket, and then pivot back to finish sewing down the side seam. Now it's time to gather the skirt. I sew 2 lines of basting stitches and pull the top threads to gather the skirt until its size matches my waistband. Then I pin it in place and it's ready to be sewn together. Okay, now I've given it a little bit of a press with the iron, and I just think it looks so cute. It's starting to look like a skirt now. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold, I'll move it like this so you can see. I'm going to take this band here and I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to stitch it right on top of this. So all of this right here will be enclosed inside this waistband, and it'll look really nice and finished. I'm going to sew around. I probably follow this stitch line maybe. And then I'm going to sew all the way around. I'm going to leave a space open, probably about 2 inches or so that I can get elastic in it. For this particular band, almost, looking at it now, I almost kind of wish it was thicker, like taller, like wider. I should have made it a little bit wider. I thought it was good. But, well, maybe next time. I wanted to get two strips of elastic in there. Let me see if that will work. Here I have this is 3/4 of an inch elastic. So if I stitch on that line, I can have one there, and then I would have a seam right here. I think it might just barely fit. It's going to be tight. Okay. I also wanted to put a little stitch line up here too, but I may not because I think I'm going to need all of that. Now, I'll put my finger there. Seam line there. Yep, I think it'll fit just perfectly. So sometimes I like to put a little edge stitch on here, but I don't think I'm going to do that this time because it would take up, I don't know, a couple of millimeters maybe of fabric, but I really kind of need that to go all the way to the edge so that it fits in there comfortably and not too terribly tight so that I can't, string it through there. Okay, so that's the plan. So just to reiterate, I'm going to first sew this down, then come back and I'll sew another seam here for my 2 elastic casings, and then we'll put the elastic in. Okay, so I am sewing down the middle here so I can have a casing of elastic here and one here. And I just wanted to say, because I don't think I mentioned it before, that after I attached this, before I started sewing this midline here, I pressed this really good with my iron because it really helps to keep it flat, because I needed a way to keep this line straight, right? So with this being pressed flat, I am lining it up with this little line right there. I don't know if you can see. Right there, that line. And so that has helped me a lot. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, you can see here's my gap of where I'm going to put my elastic in. So it's completely open here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this top elastic first. If you had multiple layers of elastic, then I would do it the same way. I would just start at the top, and then like you could have 4 1/4 inch, elastics or something. And like I said, I would do it the same way. I would just start at the top and then start feeding the elastic through. And then I'll do the same thing with this bottom one here. Okay, I've worked my elastic all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and finish off this elastic before I do the next one, because you see how it's all bunched up. I think it'd be kind of hard to do one then the other. So I'm going to sew this together, and then I'm going to sew this midline shut, and then I'll do the bottom one. Okay, I finished up the waistline, and I'll be honest, this skirt, it was a little bit heavy. And it was a little bit long. I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be too short. I wanted kind of a midi skirt, and this was all the way down to my feet. So I took about 10 inches off of it and hemmed it up. So now it's all hemmed. Now I just have one final thing I want to do. I found these cute little tags at Hobby Lobby. I've seen them at, Joann's used to have them too, but I've seen them at Michael's and other places, but these I thought were so cute. And sometimes when I have handmade, garments that I made myself, maybe not handmade, but you know what I mean, made by me, sometimes it's hard to tell, like, where is the front and which is the back. Now on this skirt, it probably doesn't matter that much, except that the pockets are kind of pushed to the right position. So, but anyway, I want to put a little tag in here, and then I will know that that is the back. So I thought that was just a cute little addition that I'm going to be adding to everything that I make. Now for the big reveal. I think it's really cute. I am quite proud of myself for adding pockets because this was the first time that I have ever made pockets in that way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.